Hi guys, okay, so today I'm going to be doing a back to school book haul or a summer book haul. Basically these are just the books that I bought over the summer and there's not a lot, there's about 15. You will notice that all of these books I bought at secondhand bookstores just because, you know, you can go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book for $15, but for $15 at a secondhand bookstore you can buy 3. So I like to shop a bargain when it comes to books just because that's my hobby and it's an expensive hobby. Let's go ahead and get started. The first book in the pile is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I saw the movie, it was really good. It's about this kid, I think his name is Wade, and he lives in the year 2045. It's basically in a society where everyone is obsessed with this virtual reality video game, and the owner of the video game dies and he leaves a series of missions, and the first person who can finish the mission, or the 3 missions, gets the whole franchise. Wade cracks the first clue and then people get really mad. And that's about it. That's all that it says on the back of this. And I had to get this for my English class, so I was really excited when I saw that this was on the required reading. And the next book that I have is The Trials of Apollo, their first book in the Trials of Apollo series, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. I've read the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus and the Kane Chronicles, but I haven't read the Trials of Apollo or the Magnus Chase series, and I haven't heard anything but good things about this one. And basically, Apollo did something to Zeus, and Zeus got mad and turned Apollo human, so now Apollo has to go through the trials of Apollo to become a god again. That's all that I know about this, but the second book in the series is somewhere in this pile too. The next book that I have, Ignore All the Stickers. This book was on clearance. It was one of the cheapest books that I got. It's called The School of Fear by Giddy Dane Shavari. I hope I pronounced that wrong. But I got it for $1, obviously. I don't really know much about this book. I saw it in the clearance section and I thought it was really cute. So basically this book is about a group of kids who go to the School of Fear, and there's no homework, no exams, but you have to conquer your fear by the end of the semester or else something bad will happen. And I don't know what that is, but I thought it was really cute and it was only $1, so I thought I would get it. The next book I got from Blue Cypress, which is another secondhand bookshop. It's The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien, and it's a historical fiction about the Vietnam War, and it follows a group of soldiers who each carry something significant to them, and it goes through their story and how they got to where they are. I haven't really heard much about this book, but I saw it and I was in a historical fiction mood, so I got this one and the next one, which is also a historical fiction too. This one is called Sweet Francais by Irene Nemirovsky. This is again, I also got from Blue Cypress. It is a historical fiction about World War II, and it was written actually during World War II. I'm not going to try to butcher her last name again. Irene wrote this during World War II, and she was French. But because it was written during the time of World War II, almost everything that's written in here happened in her town. I'm sorry, I got a text. So I am really, I don't want to say like excited, like happy excited. I am nervous to get to it. The next book I have, I also got from Half Price Books in the clearance section, and it is Life of Pi by Jan Martel. It's in near perfect condition. I think the only reason they put it in the clearance section was because they had so many. I haven't seen the movie. It is very popular, and you probably know what it's about. It's about this 16-year-old kid who was on a cargo ship with a bunch of different animals, and the ship sinks, and the only thing that survived are him, a tiger, and a few other animals, and so he has to try to survive. I haven't heard much about it recently. I don't know what I'm expecting to get out of this one, but I am excited to get to it. Okay, this next one, a lot of you are gonna be like, oh, well, you haven't read that one yet? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I haven't really gone onto the fantasy train in a really long time. And this one I also got at Half Price Books, so there's a sticker at the top, and it is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I have not read it. I think there's a movie, or there's a movie over one of Cassandra Clare's books, and I haven't seen it. I haven't read any of her books from the Mortal Instruments series. I don't even know if you want me to tell you what this is about. Y'all probably have already read it. I didn't even read the back, I just got it. It's about this kid named Clary Frey, and he witnesses shadow hunters and warriors and demons, and then suddenly demons start attacking him and he's becoming very confused, and so he gets more involved in the shadow hunters. I've heard nothing but good things about City of Bones specifically, so I am very excited to get started with this series and get really into it. The next book I have, you're also gonna think, why haven't you read that yet? And that is Cinder by Marissa Mayer, and I got it for $3. I haven't read any of the Lunar Chronicles series, but I really love retellings of famous fantasy stories, and this one obviously is a retelling of Cinderella. And Cinderella is a cyborg, or her name is Cinder in this story, and she's a cyborg, but she falls in love with somebody who she's not supposed to fall in love with, and it becomes a big inner turmoil thing, and I'm not exactly sure what happens, but I don't want to go into it with too much knowledge just because I've heard so much good things about it. I don't want it to be too hyped in my mind, and I just want to go into it not really thinking too much. The next book I got is something that became really popular at the end of my last school year, and that is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Whatever. Me Before You is about these two people who are working together, and it seems like it's a hate to love book. And I really like those, but I've also heard that it's really sad. So I'm kind of, I have a theory of what happens, but I don't want to go into it knowing too much just because I don't want it to be spoiled, but I have heard really good things about this, and I am very excited to get this one read. Okay, my camera does this weird thing where after 12 minutes and 7 seconds of filming, it just shuts off. So, and this next one is a Stephen King book. It is called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. And it's about this 9-year-old girl named Trisha McFarland who goes camping with her brother and her mother. And they get in a series of fights, so she ends up walking away, but she gets lost in the woods. The only thing that she can think of is this baseball player playing in her mind and talking to her and basically like giving her advice and helping her through the woods because she's so lost. I think there's like something scary chasing her or something. Anyway, I wanted to save reading this book until October because I wanted to save all my Stephen King books and all my scary books because I do have quite a few that I haven't read for October and the Spookathon, because I do have a 24-hour Spookathon plan that I want to get to. This is one of his shorter reads. It's only about 219 pages, so I could easily get this done a day. The next one is the second book in the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan, The Dark Prophecy. Like I said, I haven't read it. I haven't read the first book. I don't really know much about it other than what I told you about the first book. You get it. Okay, so these next two are the first two books in the Magnus Chase, are they the Chronicles? In the Gods of Asgard series. So the first one is called The Swords of Summer, and I think it's about Norse gods, and I love mythology. I've always loved it, so I can't wait to get to The Sword of Summer and The Hammer of Thor pretty soon. This next one I got and I'm really excited to read. It's another historical fiction. It's called The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Nightingale by Kristen Hanna is a historical fiction about World War II, and it's set in France in 1939, and this woman's husband goes to war and he doesn't think that the Nazis will invade, but they do. And he gets sent to the front and something bad happens, obviously, and she ends up having to raise her family, and she gets really scared because she has to do a whole bunch of things to protect her family, and they're on the run. My aunt has read it and my grandmother's read it and they love it. I'm gonna read that one pretty soon. Last but not least, I have Landline by Rainbow Rowell. My dog jumped on my bed. I actually finished reading this book yesterday, and I think I gave it about 3 stars just because the ending was very abrupt. It's about this woman named Georgie and her husband Neil, and they're going through a tough time in their relationship. She ends up having to work on a TV show during Christmas when she was supposed to go to Omaha with her husband and her kids. And her husband gets really angry and leaves anyway, and they go, I think it's about 6 days without speaking. But she goes to her mom's house and she's talking on the landline, and instead of getting her current husband, she gets the same person, Neil, but instead of it being current Neil, it's Neil 15 years younger, and he thinks that he's still her boyfriend. It's a weird thing. It's hard to explain. I tried to explain it to my dad yesterday. It didn't really end up coming out the way that it was supposed to be, but I wanted to include it in this book haul because I did buy it like a week ago. That's about it. Those are the books that I got this summer. I'm very excited to get started with those. Please let me know if you've read these books and more books that I should get to, but please let me know how the rest of the Luna Chronicles series goes. I have heard mixed things about the rest of the Luna Chronicles series, and I've heard that Cinder is the only like really good one. If I really like it, I do want to buy the other ones, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, do whatever you want, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Bye!